Code Violet is one of those games that immediately signals ambition. From its opening moments, it establishes a distinct visual language built around muted colors, harsh lighting, and environments that feel half abandoned and half forgotten. There is a sense that this world is not simply empty, but emotionally exhausted. Everything looks like it has already survived something catastrophic, and now it is just waiting for whatever comes next. That first impression is powerful. The game draws you in with mood before it ever tries to impress you with mechanics. You are not dropped into a bombastic action sequence or a tutorial heavy opening. Instead, you are allowed to exist inside this space. You hear the hum of distant machinery, the echo of footsteps in empty corridors, and the subtle audio cues that tell you that something is not right. This approach immediately communicates that Code Violet wants to be taken seriously as a narrative experience. The story revolves around a world shaped by advanced technology, psychological experimentation, and the slow collapse of human connection. Without going into spoilers, you play as a character who is trying to piece together their identity while navigating a reality that seems to be actively erasing the truth. The game presents memory, consciousness, and artificial systems as things that bleed into one another. It is not always clear where the human ends and the machine begins. This is where Code Violet is at its strongest. Conceptually, the game has a lot to say. It is interested in how people define themselves when their memories are unreliable. It is interested in how technology can preserve identity while also distorting it. And it is interested in how isolation changes the way people understand their own existence. These are big themes, and the game is not afraid to take them seriously. But the problem is that strong ideas do not automatically make a strong experience. When you move from the narrative into the actual gameplay, Code Violet becomes far less confident. The core structure is familiar. You explore semi-linear environments, solve environmental puzzles, fight hostile entities, and slowly unlock new areas. This is not inherently a problem. Many great narrative games use this exact framework. But in Code Violet, the mechanics never evolve enough to match the weight of the story. Combat, in particular, feels underdeveloped. Enemies are limited in variety, and most encounters boil down to simple positioning and timing. You rarely need to think strategically. There is no real sense of mastery developing over time. The player does not gain new tools that meaningfully change how fights play out. As a result, combat quickly becomes routine. This is especially frustrating because the game clearly wants combat to feel tense and dangerous. The environments are designed to feel claustrophobic. Enemies are meant to be unsettling, but when the underlying mechanics are this shallow, the tension does not hold. You stop feeling afraid and start feeling bored. Exploration is handled slightly better, but it has its own issues. The environments are visually striking, with strong use of color and lighting to guide the player. You can tell that a lot of care went into the art direction. However, the spaces themselves are not particularly interactive. You move through corridors, rooms, and open areas that look good but do not offer much in terms of meaningful discovery. Most of what you find are notes, logs, or simple upgrades. The puzzles follow a similar pattern. They are not bad, but they are rarely memorable. Most involve finding a key item, activating a console, or navigating a slightly obscured path. There are moments where the game tries to be clever, but those moments are too few and too far between to define the experience. This creates a strange disconnect. The story wants you to think deeply about identity, memory, and loss, but the gameplay asks almost nothing of you intellectually. You are not solving complex problems, you are not making difficult choices, you are simply moving forward. That brings us to the narrative delivery, which is another area where Code Violet struggles to maintain consistency. Some scenes are genuinely effective. The game knows how to use silence. It knows how to frame a character in a way that communicates loneliness or confusion. When it lets the player observe rather than listen, it often succeeds. But too much of the story is delivered through awkward exposition. Characters will explain important ideas in dialogue that feels unnatural. Major emotional beats sometimes come and go without being given the space they need to land. The game is so eager to communicate its themes that it does not always trust the player to understand them on their own. Pacing is a major issue as well. There are long stretches where very little happens. You walk through empty areas, solve simple puzzles, and listen to occasional bits of dialogue. Then, suddenly, the game throws a major story event or action sequence at you with very little build up. This uneven rhythm makes it difficult to stay emotionally invested. By the time you reach the later portions of the game, it feels like Code Violet is running out of steam. The story continues to introduce new ideas, but it does not fully explore them. The gameplay does not meaningfully escalate. The environments become more abstract, but not more interesting to play in. The ending, in particular, is disappointing. It is thematically appropriate, but it lacks emotional impact. It feels like the game is wrapping things up because it has to, not because it has reached a natural conclusion. The questions it raises are more interesting than the answers it provides. That said, it would be unfair to dismiss Code Violet entirely. There is genuine passion behind this project. The art direction is strong, the atmosphere is consistent, the themes are ambitious. This is not a cynical or lazy game. It is a game that wanted to be something meaningful, but wanting is not enough. In the end, Code Violet is a game that is easy to admire and hard to love. It has moments of brilliance, but they are buried under systems that never quite come together. If you are drawn to slow, atmospheric, story focused games, there is something here worth experiencing. Just do not expect it to fully deliver on its potential. Final score 5 out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, leave a like and subscribe for more gaming reviews. See you next time.